Hey everybody, I'm Matt.
I'm Keith.
I'm Elijah.
And this is NuggetCast. All right, we're back for episode 33 of NuggetCast. I think last week I said it was episode 33 of NuggetCast, but this is the real 33 of NuggetCast. Episode 5 of the reboot. NuggetCast is the stories behind the stories of Dahlonega Nugget stories. So what stories do you have today for us, Keith?
I'm just going to do a quick rundown this week on a city-county joint traffic study that's ongoing that just had its second public meeting this week on Tuesday night, and I'm just going to run through and it may or may not be the final public hearing of the study. He said there could possibly be a third one, but it's not set yet. So I was just going to kind of go through what the presenter said there.
Okay, traffic. Have they solved the traffic yet? No.
Fortunately not.
Okay, all right. Spoilers, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
What you got, Elijah?
So yeah, I think this is actually going to be a special episode for us. First time with two guests. We're just coming out of a great season for our mountain bike team. Asher Boegner, he was a Southeast Regional champion. He was a state champion. He won every race this season for, GHSA, which is, is huge. So huge get for us to have him sit down with us. And then, coming up after him, we got Seth Alhadeff, one of the coaches that are going to step in and give us the coaches a, perspective of everything. So a lot of cool stuff.
Great.
Double guests, like a mountain bike themed episode this week.
Absolutely.
All right. So we are the stories behind the stories. I wanted to tell you the story behind last week's story that I wrote that just kind of came out of nowhere. And it started with this. These are crime reports. What does anyone ever tell you, like when you're just out on the streets, like what their favorite part of the paper is, and what do they?
I think that's a given.
Right.
It's always the crime report.
It's the crime reports. It's like we work so hard on our quotes and our like fact checking and everything, but really, this is what the people want.
Yeah.
We can't fill a whole paper with crime, then that would be bad. They'd be like, we're like Dahlonaga's crime ridden, so we're not rooting for crime. But
people like to read about it. That's for sure.
I do too. I can't blame them. But this is the beginning of the crime reports. This is what I get from Shannon at the Lumpkin County Sheriff's Office every Thursday or Friday. I go by, and it's just a stack of basically every report that they've filled. And we don't put everyone in because some of them are just like, there was a harassment. So I was harassed by somebody or something. Not many details, but this one made me gasp, I think, audibly when I read this one, and I immediately knew it was going to be a story. I'll just start at the first line. The Lumpkin County Sheriff's Office received a report of a stolen 2025 black Land Rover Range Rover that had been in transit for custom interior work in Dahlonega, Georgia. That's pretty usual. You don't really have that many stolen cars, but this is a stolen vehicle. In Lumpkin County, usually if it's a stolen car, it's like somebody's ex-husband or somebody that wants the Tahoe back or something.
Right.
But okay, so reading on, the vehicle originally ordered through a California-based auto brokerage. That's a little strange. On behalf of a high-profile client, was known to be at a local business. I won't list the business, but so I'm looking at high-profile client. So there's like at the top, it shows the people involved.
Okay.
And this is what led me to gasp because I don't know. Do you want to read like that name there, like on the?
Oh, the first name right on the top. O'Neill, Shaquille Rashawn, age 53.
O'Neill Shaquille Rashawn, age 53. And what?
I do believe that's a famous basketball player.
Yes, I've heard of him. Yeah. I think he's a 4-time NBA champ.
What do you think, Elijah? Sports expert?
Shack attack.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a
Shack attack.
It was actually like a Shack hack attack.
Shack hijack.
Yeah, there's so many like plays on words you could have done with this. But so that happened, and I read on. And sometimes I'm like, this story can wait till the print edition. It can, and I like to put everything off until the last minute on Monday, and I'll call people. In this case, I just immediately called the sheriff and said, "What's up with this?" And if you don't know, I guess Shaq is in law enforcement, like local law enforcement. The sheriff, I don't know if they're like best buddies, but they know each other. There's a photo that keeps popping up on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen that.
If you're a fan of the 60 Days In show, there's actually a show where he's actually he's alongside one of the sheriffs where they bring the prisoners and stuff.
Right.
Into jails too.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cool.
So I guess like Shaq, I don't know if Shaq actually called up himself. They did interview him, and he said basically, I think he has like 40 cars, so this probably isn't that big a deal for him. But he was like, I really just want you to catch the guy. So Lumpkin County Sheriff's Office is working on it right now. What led, if we really want to delve into the stories behind the stories, like I had a feeling that we weren't going to be able to break this news like in the print edition of the Nugget. It's hard to be the first to get the scoop when you're a weekly print edition. First of all, it's just hard to beat Facebook,
Yeah, I was going to say, we're in the internet age now.
No.
So
it doesn't even matter.
It at the speed of light.
Yeah. But in this case, I Googled it, and it did, someone was saying, like, the people.com somehow picked up on it, that Shaq's Land Rover had been stolen, but there was no tie to us, to Lumpkin County. So like, we can kind of break this story, or our local tie.
Right.
And about that time, I hear the Channel 2 is headed to Lumpkin County. Channel 2 knows.
No.
Yes, WSB is on the way. So it was Friday. Is that time of day at the end of the day where, no one accomplishes anything after 4 o'clock on Friday, right? Like, but I was like, I've got it. We got to get something out there before Channel 2 gets here. Not that I don't know if I'm starting a beef with it,
News
with
wars.
Tom Regan of the Channel 2, but Tom Regan was on the way, and I don't know. Like for me, that's one of my pet peeves when the Atlanta news stations show up with their cameras on our turf, like right as and they're like they do their thing, like they do 5 minutes of footage, they go back to Atlanta.
My mind goes straight to Anchorman. Have you ever watched
I was thinking that too.
newscast?
The reporter rumble.
It won't come to that. It's a friendly rivalry, I guess. So yeah, there was a scramble, and I feel like I wrote something quick, fact checked it though. I wanted to make sure I didn't write anything like that was wrong, and then put it up on the website, and then linked it to Facebook, and that's where it kind of took off. The print edition story had a lot more details, but yeah, that's the story behind that story. Weird thing was, then it's Friday like 5, and I go for a jog, and I get a text, and it's a picture of Dog the Bounty Hunter. And he's hanging out like on the square or something,
Coincidence or something
right.
more?
Is he
Could
on the
he
case?
be on the case?
Yeah. And someone said, like, you gonna go get him? Do a story on him? I don't know. That felt too like paparazzi-ish to me. I thought about, like, since I was jogging, like texting you and be like, hey, Keith, go track down Dog the Bounty Hunter. Would you have liked to have done that, or like
Keith the Bounty Hunter?
I'm the one that tracks
same
down
ring.
the bounty hunter. Seems backwards, but yeah, I would like to speak to Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Maybe I should have given you a heads up. I didn't. It looked like from the story or from the picture, he was just enjoying a meal at Public House at that point.
It's very likely he was just up here on his personal time. But wouldn't it be interesting if he was pursuing the thief for his own
If
show?
he was on the case. Yeah.
He would make for an interesting
That would.
television show, right? You've got
Yeah.
two celebrities involved, basically.
Like a crossover, yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, that's the story behind that story. And I guess we should probably move on to our mountain bike stories. Should bring in
Bring it our
who,
first guest.
Asher.
Asher.
The Asher Boegner.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's welcome Asher Boegner.
All right.
First off, thanks for coming in here. I know you kind of had class and everything going on, so we kind of got lucky just, pulling you out of class and getting you to sit down with us here.
Yeah, it's all good. Glad to be here. I think I'd rather be here than class, but, it's all right. It's all right.
So I think we got to kind of kick this thing off. You're coming off of, a pretty crazy season, undefeated all the way through, Southeast Regional Champion, Georgia State Champion.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of run me through some thoughts, looking back over everything.
It was a perfect season. There's a lot of preparation going into it from this entire past year. Just hitting every national event I could, from Puerto Rico to Arkansas to Utah to Montana, basically all over. Just riding with the top kids in the nation and training as well as I can, doing like 10, 15-hour-long training weeks, and yeah, just always riding my bike and always focusing on the big thing. So this wasn't my main focus in the season. My main focus was obviously all those national races and nationals, which didn't go too well, but I still felt good on where I was at. But yeah, it feels good to have my last season be perfect and good for the school season. So
awesome. And, just from talking to a lot of the kids, I feel like one of the things that kind of gets brought up a lot is, all the trails and stuff that we have around here and how beneficial they are. You talk about competing at a national level. And so how would you say, just being from Dahlonega, having access to these trails is just beneficial?
I am so blessed to grow up in Dahlonega and be a mountain biker, because it's not even just mountain biking. Like, just the roads out here, it's just perfect. It's all gaps and windy, and there's so many different routes you can do. And then plus, Dahlonega has the best mountain biking in the entire state of Georgia. It is wild, and there's like 70, 80 miles of just mountain bike trails out there, and gosh, it's so much fun. Just straight backcountry riding and some pretty hard stuff, but I mean, it's all fun. And when you do it a lot, it gets tame. So I mean, it makes all the other stuff you do not as hard. So.
What is, just coming into these races, I feel like it's kind of like a cross-country meet when you kind of think about it. You're out there, everybody's kind of sprinting for the finish, and I feel like it's a really hard sport to kind of be, constantly successful in, because, you're out there competing with,
Yeah,
countless,
I would say it's definitely harder because it's not just you going out. Like, you could have problems with your bike, could get a flat, you could slide out, you could crash. Like, there's so many different things that goes on, except for, like a cross country meet, you're just running. It's just you and you're running. But with biking, it's just you, but there's a lot of other factors that can play in, like crashing, flatting, like I said, stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely it can be very mentally tough at sometimes, but that's good.
So it kind of seems like it's, surviving the chaos pretty much.
Yeah.
And how do you kind of prep for that? It sounds like you can't really plan.
Yeah, you can't really plan it. The main thing for prepping for it is know the trail, know where you're going to race, know your lines, know everything, so it's going to be safe. And then obviously it's just your skills that you have on the bike is going to help from that. But some of it's just uncontrollable. Like, if some kid is like next to you and pushes you off somewhere, you crash, or a rock that you didn't see just randomly shows up and you get a flat on it. But I mean, there's some stuff, like with the technology nowadays with all mountain biking, it's gotten insane. So there's a lot of stuff that helps prevent all that, but some of it is still kind of unpreventable.
Quick follow-up. If you get a flat during a race, is there anything you can do about it, or is it
stuff
just
you can do about it? It just is going to take a lot of time. It's like,
it's pretty much going to ruin your time.
It's just going to ruin the race. I mean, it's going to ruin the race anyways. But there's like plugs. So first thing is everyone runs tubeless tires. So what's in there is like a sealant. So if you do get a puncture, the sealant fills the hole, and if you're spinning the wheel fast enough, it should dry in there and seat it if it's really small. Mm-hmm. But if it's a really big hole, then you're going to have to get like tire plugs, and you plug it, and then every single time I race, I have like 2 CO2 cartridges on me, so you can just pop those in and fill up the tire to pop it back in. So cool. I mean, it's easy to do, but it takes time. So.
And just outside of flat tires and stuff too. I feel like you have to worry about like chain, faulty chains.
Yeah. Nowadays you don't really have to worry about any of that. Like the technology that goes into biking is insane from how it was 2-3 years ago. Now, every year they're just coming out with insanely, increasingly better stuff, and it's so yeah. There's really no problem with like. I mean, there can be if it's like you start and you just. Like you could snap a chain, but it's not really that like it's not really gonna happen too much.
So if that does happen, like you're kind of out on your own, right? There's no like pit crew where you can come in.
For the Georgia races, there's like a maintenance tent. So you're gonna have to, if you're out on the course, you're gonna have to walk all the way around the course back to finally go to the maintenance hut, and they'll change out your chain or whatever. But what's at national races is usually somewhere on the course. I mean, it's the same way, but it's not like at the start. They usually have like one kind of middle of the trail, one at the start-finish line, where you can have like wheel sets or like parts and stuff just in case something bad happens. You can go back, switch it, and go back out. I mean, it's going to take time, but I mean, it's still nice. So.
Do they go like super fast, like a pit crew? Is it like
yeah, it depends on your pit crew.
Okay,
but
yeah,
right. They go pretty fast. I mean, my team does a good job. I haven't really had to deal with any of that, except for at nationals. But yeah, he did it great, and I mean, I was still. Oh, that race was so bad. Do you want me to tell you about that race?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well. So the week started off, full week of national races. There was 3 national races. First was Marathon Nat, so it was like a 50-mile mountain bike course all around. I can't remember the name, but it's in Roanoke, Virginia. And we go out good, feeling great. It was really hard. The first hour was really tough, but we stayed in like a group of 5. Hit the first climb hard, kind of broke away. I was sitting in 5th at that point, and then there was like the main downhill, and it was so long, it was so terrible. Legs were, like I was getting cramps on the downhill, it was so bad. The last turn before you finish the downhill, I just clipped something on the side of my tire, and it's like a sidewall puncture. It's like under the wheel, and I cracked my rim at the same time. So it was like, there's no fixing that, and I stopped, and there was already kids passing, so I was like, I'm done. So I just called out of the race because there was no support out there, just because how long it is. There's not really that many support spots. So yeah, that was that race. But I mean, I was sitting top 5. I was feeling good. So it was a bummer. And then the second race was a short track. I didn't do that just because, I mean, I could have done it because it was like Monday was the I think it was Monday. Monday was the marathon. Thursday was the short track, and then Saturday was the XCO. So the short track is like kind of like, I mean, it's like a crit race, if you know what a crit race is, but it's like a small, less than a mile or like right at a mile course, and you just do as many laps as you can in 20 minutes. So it was like downtown. I just went to watch that. It was fun to watch. And then Saturday was the main, or I think marathon was more my main focus, but this was definitely now a main focus after having a bad race at marathon. So XCO is like your typical Olympic style mountain biking. So it's like a 3, 4, maybe 5 mile course, and it's 4 or 5 or 6 laps, whatever. They usually give you a lap count, and we had a like 20th started call up. We head out, and some kid is like riding someone's wheel too close, and the kid like turns, and it makes him tap the guy in front of his wheel. So he taps his wheel and gets shot to the side, and then I come by and he hits me from hitting the side. I just go right over. I'm literally last place, get back up, go back out. And I didn't really like that course. There's like no passing across the entire course. Trying my best to make up positions, which is really hard with being, God, it's like 120 kids. It's crazy. And then, again, last downhill before the final climb to go up, I just hit a rock wrong, flat, have to climb back up the hill, change my wheel, go back out. And then there was like this bridge, and it was like it rained the day before or the night before, so it was all muddy. And it's supposed to have like chicken wire on it. There was one strip of chicken wire right down the middle. So of course I don't hit that. Tire skids off. My bike almost went under and off the bridge. I was so mad at that point, but I got back up, tried to finish lap out, and then it was just terrible. So
And it
got
sounds
out.
like bad race at Mario Kart or something. You're like hitting banana
yeah,
peels.
it was wild.
So, like, does that make it worse, like, when it's mechanical failure, or is it, like,
it makes it worse
like you
because it's
didn't
not where you should be or where you want to be. But it's like stuff just to keep in your head to motivate you for the next time you're doing these races and stuff like that. I mean, most of it's out of your control. So you kind of just got to hope and pray that it's not going to happen again. But there's always a chance that it will. But I mean, you just got to keep it in the back of your head and know that stuff like that can happen and stay calm and just use it as motivation to do better the next race or whatever. So,
Yeah.
So, like, when it comes to, preparing for these trails, is it just like cross country? Because I know, like, before they run a race in cross country, they can kind of go out, walk the trail, and see what's out there.
It's the same thing as that. It's like you have plenty of days. They open it up like 3-4 days before the race starts. You can go out there, do as many laps as you want, learn as many things as you want, just fully dial in the course. So when it's race time, you know everything. You know the course. You know where to attack, where to be smart, all your lines and stuff. So, yeah.
And I think another really cool thing about, just mountain biking in general around here, I kind of keep up with, you and Charlie both on Instagram, and some of the places I kind of see y'all ride through are just pretty, with the mountains and everything.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's a sport that can take you so many places. And that's my dream and goal is to go out to Europe and race somewhere out in the Alps or somewhere out in France, something like that. But yeah, it just takes you so many places, especially all these national races. Like I said, I start the year off at Puerto Rico, which that was beautiful. And then we go to Arkansas, and Arkansas is like the bike hub of the United States. Walmart, it's Bentonville. Walmart owns that area, like they started there, so they just pour a good bit of money all into making mountain bike trails over there. So it was a pretty cool race, and it's like one of the biggest races in the seasons besides nationals. And then after that, went back, did some local races, and then I think it was next was Virginia, Danville, Virginia, and then Utah, Montana, and then back down to Virginia for nationals. So yeah.
And you kind of highlighted the chaos of everything, but there's a whole other side that you got to prepare for. The distance and everything. So when it comes to getting your body prepped and everything for a race, what do you kind of go through each week?
Well, usually the week of the race is usually pretty tame, but it's usually those 2-3 weeks before the race, hard intensity, especially for XCO races, which is like the Olympic style races. It's like hard intervals, like usually one of my favorite intervals is 30-30s, so it's like 30 seconds sprint hard as you can, 30 seconds rest, and then you do that like 5-6 times, and then 5-minute rest after that, and then you do it again, like 5 reps, 6 reps, whatever. And then there's a bunch of like tempo work that goes into it, and it's just a bunch of intervals throughout the week, as well as some light stuff, so it's not all. And then the weekends usually towards like long distance, like 3-4 hour long rides. And that's pretty much it.
Is there anything you do different diet-wise leading up to a race, or not
really? I mean, the main thing is just eating a bunch of carbs, so like pasta, pizza, rice, stuff, all that stuff. Just carbo low that entire week. Drink a lot of water and a lot of electrolytes, and that's pretty much it. And I try to keep a clean diet. Like, I mean, I eat some candy here and now, but I mean, it's not bad. So,
do you have like a favorite dinner to eat right before the
I usually
race?
Just like some pasta, like some chicken Alfredo, or like
just
some
homemade.
parm.
Yeah. You're like going to Olive Garden, like unlimited pasta bowl type thing.
Olive Garden is good, but it's usually kind of what's near, like wherever the race is. It's kind of like whatever Italian restaurant's near, So.
And how many, if you had to guess, I know some people kind of keep up with it, but how many miles do you think you've already put in this season?
I keep up with it. I mean, I could look right now and give you an exact number.
On the Strava.
Yeah. Right. Get on my Strava.
Say what?
So that'd be kind of interesting, just a little inside look here.
Yeah.
We are at 6,651 miles.
Insane.
Whoa. I didn't think it would be that high.
Okay.
And
like
450
California
hours.
back and some extra miles, right?
That's insane.
How many hours?
Wow.
Sorry, I was
Why do you even say the
450
6,000
hours.
miles an hour?
450.
So, yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
we
the
still
math
got a
on
little
that.
bit
That's like
left
a
in the
month
year,
on a
so-
bike.
I'll probably hit like 8. I mean, I would love to. It's going to be hard to hit 10,000, but I'll probably definitely hit about 8, maybe 9,000 for the year. So.
Just kind of getting back into the, the season that you had and everything. When you kind of look back over the races, is there like any particular race that you feel was maybe a little bit more difficult than all the others?
Out of the school season, I would probably have to say the second race of the season, because I did Foos Gold the week before, and I was not feeling too good then, and I feel like I had some sort of like cold or something like that, like a little sickness. It wasn't like major, and it went away kind of quick. But I feel like it was kind of there for that race, that second race at Dawsett. So power-wise and heart rate-wise, I feel like I wasn't there. So I was with Jesse Bowen, the kid who I guess kind of fighting with, but he usually came in second. I was kind of with him the entire race, which I'm usually not. But it was kind of just, kind of had to play more tactical. And it was probably the hardest on the legs because I literally started cramping like third lap before heading out to the fourth, and yeah, it was kind of just a more tactical race that I had to do. And the course was probably, I want to say it probably was the hardest out of the series, but it was one of my favorites. But yeah, it took kind of take a toll because it's a bunch of turns and every downhill is kind of rooty, so it kind of it just moves everything. But yeah, that was probably the hardest race of the season, especially just having to fight through all the cramps and stuff.
And, I feel like a lot of people may not know about the kind of opportunities that come, like other sports, of course there's college teams and everything else. And, a lot of people may not know, what does, after high school kind of look like for, somebody that's in the mountain bike?
So I have, there's a great school up in North Carolina, called, Brevard College. And I've been accepted to go up there. I'm heading up next weekend, to do a ride with the team, college visit and all. But yeah, there's great opportunities. I would say it's definitely fewer colleges than like cross country, because cross country is like all the SEC schools and stuff like that. But it's way more niche, and there's not as many schools that do it, but there's still a lot of schools that do it. Most southeast, like smaller southeastern schools, have pretty good teams. I would say Brevard is the best team in the southeast. And they're a D3 school, but they're D1 in mountain biking, which is pretty cool. And not this year, but this past year, 2024, they won 9 out of 10 national titles at the collegiate level. So they're a pretty good team. And also the riding, because it's all over Pisgah National Forest, the riding over there is, I would say, the best riding in the United States. It's crazy hard, but it's so much fun. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities.
And, just kind of wrap up, the kind of questions and stuff I had for you, too, is, you come from a really athletic family, too.
Mm-hmm.
Bronner doing his thing out at Rhodes.
Yep.
So what's the inside scoop on how things have been going from him? I haven't really...
He's kind of had not too great of a season. There's another rival keeper going on, and it's like... The guy, I don't get it. I feel like he might be giving the college more and money, so the coach is just kind of like loving on him more. I don't know, but he's just always putting him in and kind of just throwing Bronner to the side, even knowing Bronner's a way better keeper than this kid, and this kid has let in way more goals for the team season so far. They're literally losing. They've lost like mainly every game. But I don't know. It's just a terrible situation for him to be in. Because he's worked so hard for everything he's been doing, and just for him to be thrown away in like the trash like that, it's not right. But hopefully it'll change. But he's mainly there just for school. It's such a academically great school. And he has interns lined up and jobs lined up after. So if he just gets through it, graduates, he'll be set. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I guess to close it out, if for the kids out there and on training wheels and Huffies right now, what advice would you give them on how to be a mountain biker? What should they do?
Well, how I got all my inspiration for mountain biking was all YouTube videos. So I would say, start digging into some mountain biking on YouTube, watch videos, become enjoyed in it, and just be eager to, you see it online, you want to go do it, So get a decent bike. They're pretty expensive, but Trek makes some good like starter bikes and stuff that aren't crazy. And especially living out here, you can get lost out there. But it's great riding. It's really hard riding. There's also good places around here like Yona and Styles Park, which is in Dawson, that are very tame and like chill trails to just learn on. But yeah, if you really, really enjoy it and you have a really good supportive family that wants to allow you to do the things you want to do, go for it. It's get into the team here, get into your local team or whatever. Learn racing, learn etiquette, learn your skills and how to ride a bike. And then the next step would be doing more off-season races. Then if you really want to take it more serious than that, get a coach, get training plans, and ride every day for the entire week, and get like miles set and hours set and intervals, workouts set, and then go off to national races and do the whole national circuit. And yeah, you can take it really far. It's just how far you want to take it. So
All right, good advice.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, we appreciate you sitting down with us, man.
Of course, yeah, this is great.
Awesome.
Thanks, Asher.
Thank you.
Yep, thank y'all.
Okay, it's a big day for NuggetCast. We usually have one interview.
Yeah.
We have two.
Our
we were
first
able
one was
to
two guests.
we were able to
That's pretty awesome.
somehow get Coach Seth Alhadeff in here. He's in the building. He works in the building, so he's really not like that big a deal for him just to come over. But hey, let's bring him on.
All right.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So nice to see you. Yes. Yes. It was a long commute.
Right. There's someone
Foot
watching
traffic.
your kids right now, right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
they're
good.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
managed
background
it.
Yes, I
information
have.
for you guys. We had to get him out of class to join us. So.
Yes. Of course, really. It was a field trip for him.
Right.
So let's set the stage here. Coming off a state championship, or we took second in state, first in Southeast regions, but we had some phenomenal kids that kind of Asher, when I just sat down with us, state champion in his own right. So just kind of set the stage for somebody that may be viewing this. What kind of happened this season? What's some big takeaways for you guys?
It was a great season. Asher has led the way now for definitely the past 2 years, probably 3. He's just such a stand-up guy, incredibly fast, as you can tell since he won. But he's awesome. He's led the way. We've got just a strong, I think, lead group with him, Matthew Weber, Shiloh, Solomon, Brewer. So we got a high school team that's really developed since the mountain bike team started. They've really kind of, I feel like, peaked these past few years, where these kids have started in middle school, where we had a group that would go out a ride of like 12 or 10, 12 kids on the team, and now we've grown to 27. So it's just awesome. So to watch them kind of grow through the program as it was like really first born, and then now taking the lead has been really cool to watch.
And, I know we kind of cover it in the paper from time to time and everything, but a lot of people may not be familiar with it and, just knowing that the opportunity's here. But I feel like, mountain bike, along with wrestling is kind of it's a really fast-going sport right now. A lot of kids are kind of getting involved in it. So what can you just kind of say about, the school having that kind of opportunity for these kids and maybe just some growth of, the sport in general?
I'm jealous, really. I'm really jealous, because if I was a kid and mountain biking was an option, I would have fallen in love with it. So so it's just so cool, like all the opportunities I think you get, like this, now I think with kids what they get, mountain biking is just a phenomenal sport that I think is still kind of young. It's huge now in the state. When you go to these races, you see how many people are there, and you see what the sport does for people even like growing up, and older, like who first find mountain biking when they're older. Now, like parents that start mountain biking because their kids are doing it. So it's just so cool to see I don't think that answers your question at all, but mountain biking it's just special. It's different too because it's such a little like niche thing that isn't a GHSA sanction. Are we a club? Are we a school sport? We're like some kind of hybrid. But what we are is just such a cool group of kids and parents to get together and go have adventures in the woods. And what better place to do it than like here in the National Forest? So,
And we kind of sat down with Asher, before we sat down, and we kind of got an individual perspective, but as a coach, I feel like you'd be the kind of person to to kind of ask about this. But, team bike or mountain biking, it's not just an individual sport. You guys get out there, you compete as a team. So in regards to that kind of aspect is, how would you describe that to somebody that's maybe unfamiliar with the sport and how everything kind of works with it?
That's right. It's like a cross country or I don't know what other sports does it where you cross country is probably the most
like
simple.
lower score is better, right?
Lower scores, but
Like golf.
well,
Right?
no.
Okay.
But
You
yes.
should have briefed me
It's
before.
Yes, but that is the only thing that's different of the two.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. But if the scores do count, you get the individual score, and then you add up your top 5 scorers, and that makes your team points.
There's a lot of math. There's a lot of
There's
math
some
involved.
math
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Coach Dave, I wish he was here because he runs a spreadsheet on the points before the awards come out, and he's amazing. So he has it down to a science. But
So no surprises. He knows who's going to the podium.
roughly,
Like,
yeah, he's
all right.
got it pretty dialed in.
Yeah,
He's pretty. By the time it rolls around for awards, he's been accurate with all his calculations. But that's the only thing that's different is the points are you get higher points the better you the better you finish in mountain bike versus lower points in cross country. So it's more points, but you add them up as a team. So yeah, so it's cool. So it gives it it gives it a team feel, of course, but you're racing individually. So.
And, I've kind of had the opportunity to kind of interview a lot of these kids around here. And I think the one thing that's kind of brought up to me a lot is, just the support that you guys kind of have. I think they've kind of compared it to like a little family that you guys kind of have put together. So, just being a part of that, being, from a coach's, aspect, what's that kind of like, just being around the team and seeing how everybody kind of clicks?
It's a blessing and a curse. So I'll tell you, the blessing is it's awesome. It is so much fun to have such a tight-knit group. I'll joke the curse is just the time-consuming nature of it because it's an all-weekend affair. So cross country is awesome. You go to a race for a few hours. You watch the race, and then you pack up and you're gone. Mountain biking, we go for these races a couple hours away, so everybody is going to pre-ride. You always check the course out the night before. So you go ride the night before. You end up staying in a hotel or staying there that night, and then you wake up early the next morning and spend all day at the race together. So it's like consumes an entire weekend pretty much. And so that's the curse. It's just, But it's cool because you're around these people so much and we all get along well. So it's awesome. We have a great time, but it's a long weekend when you race.
So and it's a long week too, right? Because you're practicing all the time, right? How what is the practice schedule?
It's really 3 days a week: Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But by the time, we're not at Uhula Park, we're not at Park and Rec, we're not just right down the street. And plus, mountain biking is an awesome sport, but it comes with a lot of gear. You're loading up your bike, you're prepping your bike, you're getting all your stuff ready. And so by the time you really boil it down, it's like you leave the house around 5 and you get back at 8. So it's like a 3-hour ordeal 3 times a week. So it's a long.
I've seen your minivan. Seth's minivan has like a record amount of bikes on. How many have you fit
6.
on it?
We can
6?
get 6 on there.
That's the record.
I think I've gotten 7 in there before. I put one
like you could
inside
go
the
more.
car. Yeah.
Get a roof rack too, because you got the one on the back, but put on the
you could
top.
put a couple on the roof. Yeah. So it's like
Might not be legally allowed. Street legal. I don't know.
Can fit a lot of kids and bikes, but those are fun.
And just getting into the bike aspect side of everything, I think another question I kind of run into with a lot of people is maybe that's wanting to try out the sport is, a lot of people bring up the fact that, a lot of these bikes are expensive.
Yes.
So when it comes to, being able to help these kids out, do y'all have anything in place, say if somebody was to come in and, just interested in trying it out, do y'all have a way of kind of helping those kids with it?
We do. We have a loaner bike for the team, and we do a great job because as the kids kind of outgrow their bike, obviously kids are growing, and so they outgrow bikes like clothes sometimes, unfortunately, and so they pass the. They said there's opportunities to buy used bikes and sell bikes, and then we have. We don't necessarily have a scholarship program, I don't think, on the mountain bike team itself, but we can definitely help kids because it is an expensive sport. Bikes are not cheap, but what we try to teach the kids, initially, especially when you're first getting into it, it's not about having the $10,000 bike or the fanciest bike. You're going to make the most gains just physically getting in shape and riding better. So just getting an entry level bike is good enough to do what you need to. So you don't have to spend a fortune.
And another thing is, it's not just a high school sport either. We got a middle school class coming in, a talented 7th, 8th grade class. So what can you just kind of say about just being able to get those opportunities? Not just here at the high school, but also along the middle school.
And even younger than that, now they do a Trail Rangers thing where it's 3rd through 5th grade. So you can even start elementary school, and we have that in the spring. So in the spring, you can even ride as a 3rd grade elementary, and then middle and high. So it's cool. It's great. It gives these kids a sport. I think the ones that, some of them are multi-sport athletes, but some of them that don't have a sport that they've kind of fallen in love with, mountain biking they can find and really get into. So it's been cool to see.
Awesome. Let's see here. I think I kind of touched on it with Asher a little bit already, but I feel like just the trails that we have around here in general, really great opportunities for these kids to get out there and practice, and especially getting ready for these races. So when you kind of think about in regards to our location, do you kind of think like maybe does that play into the popularity of the sport?
Yeah. So one. You're talking about mountain bike lingo. One for you is backcountry versus front country. So we have backcountry, meaning all the thousands of acres of national forest, Jake and Bull trails. When you go out on those gravel roads and there's trails in the middle of nowhere, no one's out there manicuring those. Trees are falling down, things are happening, and that's backcountry. So you never know what you're going to encounter, whether there's going to be a tree down or whether there's going to be snake or bear or whatever. Like it's true wilderness, and so we get to ride in backcountry. Most of the teams, since most of them are especially down Atlanta or other areas, they have great trail networks there, but it's all front country. It's all like nice manicured trails. So yes, it gives us, I think, the advantage because we're in the mountains. We're climbing steeper trails, but they're just more rugged. Like we are in, we're on tough stuff that doesn't get taken care of. They do trail maintenance, but not all the time.
Speaking of some backcountry stuff.
Yeah, so this is a question I've had for a long time. I'm glad I can ask you this. I feel like we almost organized this just so I can ask you this. Joro spiders. Joro spider, like, I think about that a lot. Is that a problem for you guys? And who takes one for the team as like the first person to go through? Are you the Joro spider web breaker?
No. Did you ask this question?
No, I didn't ask Asher because he's number one.
He's been in charge of the Joro spiders for the past
really
years. So
if you're in first, is that what?
That's it.
Okay,
you're the first one down the trail. Which
that's no incentive.
No. There have been rides where Asher, I look at him, and some of us, if somebody else is leading the way, like literally caked in spider web. It is like all over his helmet. Like it's amazing what
that's
those
terrifying.
things can do to you. Yeah, and I think it's just another example of why you have to be tough to ride mountain bikes. Like you've just got to get over the fact that you are getting slapped in the face with Joro spiders constantly, and you're just going to be tough. You can't stop.
How do you coach that? Like, because if I was on your team, you would have to convince me not to just run off my bike and run into the woods.
You watch Arachnophobia as a training video before the race.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to face.
That's exactly right. That's awesome.
Right.
We get those sticky traps, for mice and stuff. We just stick them on their faces.
Right.
Just to get them
on the helmet. And okay.
So I think another thing that people may be curious about is, what does practice look like? As a coach, are you riding with the kids? Are you out there with them?
Yes.
How does that work?
That's the best part. So, and I always tell parents that and people that, as a coach, and, sports are different, but as a soccer coach or a baseball coach, maybe you get to throw some BP, maybe you run a couple drills. Like, you're all in on the practices with mountain bike. You are with the kids the whole time. So, depending on which group you're in. But, yeah, we meet, we get everything ready. And Coach Dave usually, or one of the coaches, kind of talks a little bit through about what we're doing, what's going on that week, and then we divide up into groups. So biking, especially, you want to be with similar speed kids so that you can all kind of travel at the same time. Otherwise, you end up waiting on people. So we break up into groups based on how fast you are, and then we take off and ride. And we have routes and maps, and Dave's got some awesome maps that I don't know if you've heard about, but it's phenomenal what he's done with he has one, he bikes with it rolled up in his pack because he'll usually bike to practice. Old school.
Yeah.
He gets out and we'll tie it up to 2 trees in the woods, and then he'll stand by his map and point to the route, and he has that route highlighted for the night. And those trails, if you've ever been out there, they're really confusing. like I said, it's backcountry. There's not like these great, beautiful signs that tell you what direction to go. So you do have to know the trails. And so he goes over the map at the beginning of practice, and then we go ride. And it's awesome because we're with the kids and we get exercise. So I'm going to miss that part. You get 3 nights of exercise guaranteed when you're in season.
You mentioned that you didn't have access to mountain biking when you were in high school. So when did you personally kind of get involved in mountain biking as a sport or as an activity?
My first mountain bike ride was at Heritage Park in Athens. It was the end of my I was at UGA, and the end of my college career, and somebody had a mountain bike, and I hadn't really heard much about it. We went and rode, and I like immediately fell in love with it. So
nice.
Yeah, it was so since then. So pretty much, and then I moved when I was here for PT school for 3 years. We rode a lot. So
cool.
Since I've been here.
And I think you'd be a good person to kind of ask. We kind of sat down with Asher, highlighted him and, his contributions to the team and everything. But, we have other guys on there, like Shiloh, she's doing phenomenal things. Weber, I think you kind of brought him up. So if you were to kind of mention those guys and maybe kind of highlight, maybe how they attributed, to the team's success this year, who would you highlight and what could you say about them?
Well, I guess you've heard Asher's story, so I don't have to speak much on his behalf. He's awesome. Matthew, I think, embodies, what being completely passionate, all in on one sport. Like, he is a cyclist. Like, he loves it. I mean, the kid, he was just out there last night. I saw on Strava. Like, he rode. It was freezing at 5:30 at night. It's dark. Season's over. No one else wants to go outside last night. It's cold and wet and gross, and he's out there riding already. So, I mean, he just loves riding. He loves mountain biking. So I can't say enough about him. He lives out there, so it's perfect. And then Shiloh's just been awesome, seeing her grow. And you have to have a female point scorer on the team. And, females are a little harder to convince to go play with Juro spiders in the face every night and be in the woods and get dirty. And, so she's been awesome. So, and she does both really well. She can be just a rock star, support, leader, and then she can go ride her bike really well too. So she's awesome. Those they've been great. And then there's some other ones. Aaron Ferragamo comes to mind. He's always got a great attitude. He does really great things for the team. Let's see, Brewer, Hank. They're all just exceptional. They all do a great job.
Awesome. And I like I kind of alluded to, I feel like maybe there's a lot of people out there that doesn't know about just having the team here in general. So when it comes to, say, somebody getting started, where would they go to start, and how would you suggest they go about just kind of looking into everything?
We do a ride when it warms up in the spring. So we do like a kind of recruiting ride. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to pay through to do the season. You just one time free, come out, see if it's something you like. It's in May. Usually we do it. And that's a great opportunity where we kind of show people what it's about and they go on a ride with us. So I would say look for spring. And we have in the past gone to schools and told them a little bit about it and tried to get people to sign up. And so we'll probably still do that again this year to try to promote it. So look for the spring. That's when we start kind of getting people like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe you could try it. And then we start practicing in the summer.
Awesome. I think that kind of wraps up the questions I had for him. I don't know if you guys had anything.
I had, I guess, one more. So, like, the coaches, like, there's a lot of coaches, right? Because it's like parent coach. You're a parent coach. Can you list all the parent coaches for me? Like, who? Just because I want to know.
Do you want to know? Let me go through. That was actually a joke Radford said, because it's pretty funny when you look at our pictures and he's like, wait a minute, there's more coaches than athletes. It's like, well, yeah, some athletes have both parents are coaches. So that's the best part, I think, is that most of the kids have a parent that's coaching with them. So yes,
right.
You want a list?
No, I mean, you don't have to do all that. Is that too much?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it helps with buy-in. Like, everybody's out there riding.
Right.
No, it's so cool. And I think versus other sports where, like, your coach is the football or baseball guru, like, we're all on an equal field out here. Some of the parents are learning just as much as the kids about riding, and it's promoting them to exercise, and it's just cool. So it's like a whole family lifestyle thing. So
like, stories behind, there's supposed to be stories behind the stories. Like, me and Seth hang out in real life. But I know that he can't hang out until, like, mountain bike season is over. Like, I texted him, like, do you want to do something? He's like, I can in November. So it's November. Well, we're almost in November. Yeah. So
this is it.
Right. Yes.
It's
over. Great. That's
what
I was rooting for all along. But
maybe we could go mountain bike.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
If
Yes,
you
it
can fit
is a
my
busy
bike
season.
on the minivan, then we'll just meet up. Yeah.
We've mountain biked before.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, we have. I think I was. You're one of the founding fathers of the mountain bike team, right?
I came in on the heels of it. I would like to claim that, but I can't.
Well, I feel that there was a conversation at one point, maybe it was Dave, this was said we should have a mountain bike team, right?
Yes.
And then
It was talked about for a while.
Years
'Cause
later.
White County they
Right.
had the first one.
yeah,
And we didn't like that's not fair. Like we should.
no, they
probably
can't.
shouldn't be.
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah,
They
but they
can't
have Yona, the YPT. Yona
Right.
Reserve. If you've ever been there, it's like phenomenal. They have a great
Yeah,
spot.
it's
So
amazing.
they beat us to the team, but then we started one not long after. And my kids weren't old enough because I think I was a couple years out because my oldest at that time was like 4th grade.
All right, so I've actually been able to go out to some of the races and stuff too, and I think the one thing I kind of noticed, you talked about the parents and the coaches and everything, that the sidelines, while everybody's racing or getting ready for races, and it's kind of like a little cookout. I've seen coffee being made, I've seen group people with grills over there grilling out.
Yes.
So kind of explain, what that interaction's like. I feel like it's fun for the kids, but I feel like the parents also get to be a part of something and have fun as well.
They do, and it's awesome. Jamie and John, they've been a big part of the team this year, and they have done all the cooking. So they cooked meals for us this year. The 7th graders, we had 4 7th graders came out this year, and they were awesome. Their parents were all super supportive. It was their first year riding, and they were just phenomenal. So, but Jamie and John they get a special shout out because they cooked all our meals. And yes, they have a big grill. They'll do meals. They did burgers. They did spaghetti. They did breakfast. It was awesome. They did all sorts of different meals throughout the season. So we have tons of food. It's all set up under the tent. Everybody's racing, so it's like constant race is going off, or somebody's finishing, or somebody's warming up and getting ready. So there's constant stuff going on and cheering everybody on. So and we're doing it all day. So yes, it's fun. It's a great time. We're all kind of in it together, no matter what the weather, because there were days where it was like crazy hot, and then towards the end it was kind of cold and got a little wet and rainy. So yeah.
I think Matt said he had another
Cool.
follow-up question.
Oh shoot, did I did say that.
Did Matt come to a race this year? I don't think I saw Matt at a race. This year,
I
did
didn't, but I followed in the Nugget. Like I followed your stories.
Have you ever experienced a mountain bike race?
Not in person.
Okay.
Does it count?
So am I allowed to call you
TV?
out on here? Like next year, you're going to
I
be
feel
at
like
a
I'm
race,
on the
right?
hot seat now, man.
Well, Yona is our home race, and it was fun
Right.
because it was like
That's
everybody
right.
came. Even Nurse Scott Milden Hall,
Yeah, I
from
know
the middle
him.
school, came out for his first mountain bike. It
Okay,
was
and that's
awesome.
why I was gonna come, but there was a cross country meet at the same time.
That's right.
So that's the thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
it is tough. I get it.
my kid runs.
wins.
Your kid rides a bike, but
Yeah.
still,
You should
Actually, he
support
does
your
both, but
Yeah.
right.
It's important to be there for your kid.
Yeah, but at some point, and also, if anybody else just wants to join in, like that's the aim for being second, right? Not first, because then the Joro spiders will
Yes.
get you.
Yes.
That's
when
the
you
advice.
mountain bike,
Right.
go for second, except in a race because the other people have raced before.
Oh, okay.
So at practice, you could be second.
Okay,
But
that's
you should
inside
go for
info.
first in the race. Yeah,
Good deal. All right.
I love it.
All right. Are we good? Yeah. Thanks for
was
joining us.
Hey, thanks,
you
guys.
got
That was
some
awesome.
Kids
Thanks
to
for coming
teach,
by.
right?
That was fun.
All right. That was fun. We had Seth. We had Asher. Now we got traffic.
Now we got traffic.
Right.
And I don't want to beat a dead horse on the traffic. I mean, we've been talking about it a lot lately, but let's be honest, it is an issue that is at the forefront, of everything that's going on. So the latest development is this week on Tuesday night, there was the second public, I guess technically wasn't a hearing, but public information gathering session that was held as a part of this joint Lumpkin County City of Dahlonega transportation study. It's being conducted by the Georgia Mountain Regional Commission and a gentleman named Adam Hazel, who's the planning director there, and he's the one that came and did the presentation. It took place at Parks and Rec Tuesday night. I wasn't able to attend the first of the two because it happened to be at the same time as a really important city development hearing that we were covering. So because I'd missed the first one, I thought I'd better go check this one out. And the gentleman gave a PowerPoint presentation, and it was kind of interesting to kind of learn what the study will and will not potentially accomplish. So that's all I want to go over real quick here today. So I printed out just a few of the slides. I'm not going to go over his whole PowerPoint. But But the first one, he talks about the purpose of the study, and he says the goal is to provide the city and county with information ahead of decision making. This stage is all about gathering information. Future efforts will explore options and prioritize objectives. And after the presentation, I went up to Mr. Hazel and I asked him 2 questions. I said, is any new data being collected as a part of this transportation study, or is it relying exclusively on the GDOT data that we talked about in last week's podcast? And he said, no, there's no new traffic data actually being collected on the roadways as a part of this study. So my second question was, are there going to be any concrete proposals at the end of this study that are made to the city and county to resolve traffic issues? And he said no, that's not really the purpose of the study. So the purpose of the study is more apparently to kind of gauge the public's perception of what the traffic is like, and also prioritize what the public would like to see done about it, and then I guess present those findings to local government. But it's kind of a limited scope, and he kind of communicated to me that part of that is folks in the government wanted the study to be completed this year, and anything else would have required more time and probably would have taken on into next year. But it's an election year and people are concerned, so I think they wanted to go ahead and show that they were being proactive in doing this study. So he said the project will collect and review existing data, and he mentioned the GDOT numbers, the very same numbers we talked about last week, so we know what we're talking about. Review past studies and proposals, engage with the public and local staff, review regional and state trends, and assess information. So this study is very much about assessing information that's already kind of out there, with the exception,
summarized and presented like all together, right, to the city
I
and
guess
county.
The new thing is that they're adding is a survey. So there's an online survey component to this transportation study that anyone can participate in. I've already done it. It's a pretty brief survey, and it is still active, even though the public sessions are possibly over. You can still participate in this online survey. It's got a funky link to it here that I won't read aloud, but if you go to lumpkincounty.gov, the main county website, they've got a link right from their main page to this study. And it only takes about 5 or 10 minutes to complete. And the results of the survey, he shared the results so far, even though it's still ongoing. But he said the roads that the public sees are most in need of improvements are Georgia 400, State Route 60, Auraria Road, Morrison Moore Parkway, and Long Branch Road, which is not really a surprise.
No, that sounds about right. Yeah,
these are ones we talk about a lot. Other survey results he highlighted, other random observations. He said there are concerns about parking in the city limits. Event management is an issue, according to the public. There's fear that development outpaces the rate of improvements to key infrastructure. Many intersections were cited as particular problem points. There's a point where you can, type in stuff, and people are saying that some of the intersections are bad, and the future intersection at Georgia 400 is a concern. It doesn't really specify what the concern is. Perhaps that it hasn't started yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Other overarching concerns from the survey, and this is one I wanted to go over that's interesting. The first one says, don't improve to attract growth. And this kind of became a big subject point of the meeting in the Q&A portion is he said it's kind of a chicken or the egg argument, right? But it's like he said a lot of folks expressed concern that if they did do dramatic improvements to one of those main routes, that it could actually attract the wrong kind of growth or too much growth to the area that we don't want to, that would mar the rural feel
Right.
of the community. So other concerns would be cost-effective and improvements, emphasis on intersection flow and safety. And that was kind of the component to the other thing. He said rather than dramatically widen the roads or something, make them 4-lane or whatever, it improve individual intersections, how they operate, perhaps with additional lanes or different operations there. Emphasis on pedestrian infrastructure in and around Dahlonega and the University of North Georgia. Need long-term parking plan and need to coordinate land use with traffic flow. So those were all the results that he went over from the survey so far. And again, folks can still participate. It's not over. At the end, there weren't a lot of suggestions forthcoming. But it is frustrating how it kind of comes down to some of our most traveled roads are state roads, so therefore they require GDOT intervention, or even, if I understand, to do like stoplight like to add a new stoplight intersection, for example, on Morrison Moore. I believe that GDOT has to be involved.
That's a
with
pretty
that,
big
if
deal.
I understand correctly. So much less anything like widening or anything like that. So, and then if that's the case, then you're restricted by the data that GDOT collects and looks at, which is their own traffic studies. And again, like we talked about last time, GDOT's not really apparently interested too much in privately commissioned traffic studies anyway. They just care about their own numbers. So with that being the case, I just feel like a lot of the frustration with the traffic issue among the public is just that, the government can just point to that and say, hey, it's out of our hands. We really don't have any say. But they do have say over the growth and the development to a certain extent. I mean, they're private property rights, obviously. But I think the public's concern is, are we going to continue to allow more residential growth when our roads can't handle the capacity and we aren't in control of improving that capacity?
Right.
It's a tough situation to be in.
Did you what was the vibe like at the thing? Was there a crowd?
Yeah, it was well attended, and I think I've heard circumstantially the first one wasn't as well attended, but again, there was a scheduling conflict, and a lot of the overlapping interest was with that city meeting.
Exactly, because that was like directly like a traffic-related development, really.
So this was a full room, and there were a lot of key figures present. The mayor was there. Some folks from the county were there. And city council. And then just a lot of folks you see attend these development meetings regularly and are interested in the subject matter. It was civilized. It was, everyone was well behaved at this one, which is good. But I don't know. I think, at a certain point, people are just kind of like, what can we do? What are we in control of as far as our destiny is concerned on this, and what is like out of our hands? And I guess that's what we've got to get to the bottom.
And I think the fear is kind of like spurred on by like what you see going on in Dawsonville. Yeah. Like if you just standing on the corner of like where the Kroger intersection, like where you come out Kroger, I think you can see like 4 pizza restaurants. Maybe 5, all at once. You've got multiple Waffle Houses. You got all kind. I think there's 3 Waffle Houses. Nobody needs 3. You can see them from one Waffle House to the next.
Yeah,
So I think people see that and they're like, "Oh no, it's coming! It's coming for us." That's definitely the main fear. And you want growth is going to happen, but you want growth that makes sense. And that's the thing, I guess. That's where maybe the county and city can kind of put their hands on the scale a little bit there to some extent. But
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. Well, you think that about does it for NuggetCast
I think
33?
We covered a lot of territory.
All right. So if you like this, just like it and or share it with your friends. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. And if you really like us, you could subscribe to our newspaper. That'd be the nicest thing you could ever do.
Best thing you could do.
Yeah, right. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.